Welcome to episode 14 of the Loosely Art Related podcast. Not drop my book. Yeah, I didn't expect to make it to. Actually, no, I did. I expected to make it this far. This is my 3-year plan of trying to make one a week, and actually, I might try and go up to 2 a week if I can manage it, because I feel like the more natural, the better. But I do have my studio light on right now. To try and balance out, because the sun's setting over here. I'm filming at like 6:45 on Sunday, the 6th, I believe. No, the 3rd. The 3rd of May. I might try and do an episode with no edits at all. I just went to go get a meal deal, and I have a chicken, lettuce and bacon meal deal from Tesco, and I got pepperoni as a side and a Powerade as a drink. I feel like a Powerade is a much underrated energy drink. It's not even an energy drink, like it's a much underrated what do you call it? I'm gonna have to do some cuts in this. Electrolyte drink. It's a much underrated like electrolyte drink. Okay, this is gonna be all over the place. I'm gonna have to decide where to cut. So I am gonna do some cuts. Inevitably, yeah. Anyway, I've just come back from it was my birthday this week, last Thursday. So I'm 27 now, and I was with my parents for the a few days, and we had a fire and we had some steak, which was quite nice. But yeah, it got me thinking about memory when I was like walking Nora, who's our dog, in the forest, and how it, like, the hot weather really reminded me of holidays that I've been to in the past, and I hadn't really had like sort of like full body like memories like that for a while, of like how I felt when I was on holiday before, and it made me really want to go on holiday again, because I haven't. Last trip I went on was like 2 years to Albania 2 years ago, with a couple of friends, and that, because I'm quite scared of flying, really. Like I'm really scared of flying. I just feel like I'm gonna die every time, and the stress of like booking a flight and then leading up to it, like I don't imagine my life beyond that flight until I actually like touch down. So, and it's annoying, like I wish train travel was cheaper, because I do enjoy taking the train, but yeah, having to take a plane everywhere is not ideal for me, but it's something I do have to get over. I remember my dad telling me someone that he knew got over it by like hypnosis, go to a hypnotist. But I'm a bit skeptical of that. I don't think that's going to work. I just, take some Valiums and I'm usually good. But it's just the stress leading up to it I don't like. And it's weird, because last time I went, like, I do actually enjoy plane travel. I enjoy the whole process of it. I feel it does feel exciting, like you're going somewhere new on holiday. And I have a lot of we went on holiday a lot when I was younger. Yeah, Spain, France, like Italy, went to South Africa, where else? Mostly around Europe. To America as well, we did go to New York, the Hamptons. My family did go to like Yellowstone, I think, or Yosemite, but I didn't go there. I think I was busy. And also I feel like sometimes, like, going on holiday with your parents when you're older, I think it can be quite like, unless you have a separate car and a separate way of getting around, like you're kind of stuck together and it's in quite like close quarters, and I feel like it does lead to some arguments sometimes. But it would be nice to go separately at some point. But yeah, for episode 14 I was trying to think of football players that had the number 14, and the first one well, actually, thinking about it, I couldn't actually think of anyone. I really wanted like Balotelli to have the 14 in my mind, but he had the 45. And the reason why he had number 45, which I'm sure everyone knows, is like because 4 plus 5 equals 9, and 9 is the striker's number. And when he was younger, the striker that played for his team when he was coming up took the number 9, obviously, so he had to pick another number, so he picked 45. I wish Balotelli did better at Liverpool when he went. Such a disappointing player. The best Liverpool squad was at Sturridge, Suarez and Sterling. Nothing will beat that. I think I was probably at the right age as well. I'm guessing it was like 2012 maybe. 2011, 2010. So it got me. Oh, there's an annoying sound outside. Everyone here's at the new studio, like I've just said hello to a few people walking around. There's a woman making a huge like baseball cap in the front out of like maybe styrofoam, but it looks pretty solid. But it is a huge hat, so I don't know what that's about. But everyone here's been really nice, and there's a guy that turns up in a cool motorbike, on a cool motorbike, but I haven't met him yet. I don't think. I just come in with like, whenever I come in, I then go off to like Tesco Express and get some food or something. So they've seen me. They always see me with a Tesco bag coming back. I was looking at the ingredients of Vaseline. I can't find my lip balm anywhere. Like, I have to buy multiple lip balms because I just lose them in pockets. Like, I don't know. I have 3 lip balms. They've all gone. So I had to buy this other Vaseline. It only has one ingredient, and that is not petroleum, but like petro something, which I'm pretty sure is like an offcut of petrol production, maybe. Petrolatum, which I'm not sure what that is, but only one ingredient. Because I know like Carmax and that, they put stuff to make your lips drier than they were, so it makes you constantly need it. But yeah, the Albania trip we went to, we were going hiking, and the first hike we went on, it was in the mountains of Albania, and I got soaked. Like, all my clothes got wet, and we were staying in the same room. And then the next day we went on another hike, so I wore my shorts, and then we hiked all the way to the top of this mountain. It was like snowy, and I'm pretty sure I could have got frostbite if I'd stayed at the top too long. Like, my hand was numb for a considerable amount of time, and I got to the pole and I actually had a weird sense of like vertigo, even though it was very sort of misty either side. I couldn't really tell where I was, but I knew where I was, so that's why it gave me like a vertigo feeling. Oh yeah, I think I got sidelined. I was talking about memory, right? Oh, also there were so many ants. I took like across the road from my parents' house, not across the road, like across the field out the back. There's like an excess amount of soldier ants, and I needed a wee, so I stopped for a bit. And I was terrified about getting them on I could just imagine my ankles getting bitten, and I was like looking down at my foot, and there was like a soldier ant on my shoe, so I had to hit that off pretty quickly. But if you stop for a second, your foot is getting covered in soldier ants, like that scene out of Indiana Jones, where he is screaming on the floor, and the bad guy, I think, not Indiana Jones, but all the ants like climb into his mouth and just suffocate him. I feel like that's one of the worst ways to go. And another prevalent death I remember is in like Casino Royale. I think the woman in the lift that goes underwater, and then she's like trying to get out, and he's trying to get her out, and then she just accepts her fate and she breathes in, and that terrifies me. I'm sort of quite scared of the sea as well. I enjoy boats. I enjoy being on the sea. I enjoy like looking out to the sea and being on the shoreline. But yeah, I was born in Cape Town when you're a baby. But my parents came back when I was like 3 years old. So, but I feel like when you're a baby, you take in a lot of the sounds and the lights and even though I have no memories of that, those early years from 0 to 3, I feel like I've been back a couple of times and it all like looks really familiar and feels really familiar when it shouldn't. We actually went back for the 2010 World Cup, and yeah, there was that match. I think England played against Germany where dad and I were like in the top, like our seats were like really high up, and it was the one where like Lampard took a shot and it bounced down and it was like inside the line by about a foot, but the referee didn't give it. But the whole experience of that World Cup was fun. I remember there was a KFC there that we tried, and I think that was like the second time I ever had a KFC. And I held a snake. I remember having this guy. We went to a snake zoo, I think, and he put this snake around me, and it was just me and my dad there. Like I don't remember anyone else being there. And he put the snake around me, and then he disappeared to his office. And I remember like looking. I was like 10 years old at the time. And I remember like looking down, like being scared about the snake, and the snake like started coming closer and closer to my face. And it must have been a harmless snake, but it was incredibly scary. And I made my dad go and get the guy again. But I don't have a phobia of snakes. Some people are really like scared of snakes. There's nothing really I have a massive like phobia about. I guess flying. I'm pretty scared of flying, like I mentioned earlier. But probably like the deep ocean. I'm terrified of the deep sea, like getting in there, and if I'm just floating there, like there's so many miles of. Well, is there only like 2 miles of water below you? But just like not knowing and being so like out of your comfort zone. One of the things I got for my birthday is a sunset light or a sunrise lamp. So instead of waking up with the sound, like it'll slowly get brighter and brighter and wake you up with the light. You can add an alarm after that, but yeah, the main thing is you should probably come to with the light. And I've been getting up most mornings at like 7:30. So, what else did I get for my birthday? I got this light, which is something I needed. Daylight light. From Screwfix, which I talked about before. It's good. It gets really hot though, so I'm a bit worried about. This is probably the longest I've kept it on, and I can imagine it's probably burning on the back. Yeah, I also got a phone case and like a clip-on charger on the back. From the cases from like Nudian, and the chargers from Mouse, I think, company called Mouse, and they both have their branding on it. And it's like these two companies that have like advertised to me for maybe 10 years. They're the ones, I think Mouse is the company that does those like, they throw the phone up in the air with their case on it, and then those types of videos. I remember once like everyone was getting those backpacks with those like foldable, the top, it was like a funnel, and then it would like fold over, and then so you'd have this like bar of the top of like folded material. That seems to have calmed down now, but that really reminded me of like any corporate person would have that type of bag. I mean, they are quite nice bags, but it's funny how those things like come and go, like a way of someone just reinvented a way of like opening a bag and then it becomes all popular. It's a bit like a lot of girls are getting those like Puma shoes. I don't know what they're called, but like they look a bit like racing shoes. And you could see like Puma trying to do that for a while. They were like collaborating with a lot of fashion designers and like KidSuper. did like collaboration with them. And then like 5 years later, or like 2 years later, they've come out with like a signature shoe that's like being quite successful. KidSuper did he's the one that got Ronaldinho to do his walk for him. And there's supposed to be that new like Ronaldinho documentary on must be Netflix, which I need to watch. So I feel like Ronaldinho is the best player that has ever played. I have a poster of Ronaldinho on my wall from a newspaper cutout of The Guardian, I think. Oh no, yeah. Maybe it's The Guardian. I don't really know, but it's framed now. I've had it for a long time. And it has a did you know box in the corner. And the fact is that he was initially, I believe there was another Ronaldo at the time, and then he started getting called Ronaldinho to separate himself from Ronaldo. I might have got that wrong. I can't remember the last time I actually read that. This painting I feel like looks better on camera than it does in person. Although actually looking at it now, like now that the outdoor light has gone, we've only got the studio light, it's looking a bit more washed out, I think. But it's working quite well on camera. Oh, I need to get rid of this brown thing. This sweatshirt only has one pocket. I don't know why. I got it at like a vintage store in Brighton. My mum hates it. My mum hates this sweatshirt. I don't know why. I think she thinks it looks tatty. But, I mean, it does have some marks on it, like paint marks and stuff. And I forgot I had it for a while, but I've started wearing it recently. I can't wait to end this recording so I can just go on my phone. I love going on my phone. When I go to the park and kick a ball about, I then do the outdoor gym and I do some pull-ups and chin-ups and dips. And there's always like a singular guy there that's there for like 10 minutes and then he goes. And then another singular guy comes in like jeans and a t-shirt. When I'm like kicking the ball about, I'll like keep looking over to like make sure that I can go, and because it's not that big, so it would be kind of awkward for us both to be doing our thing. So I wait until they go, and it seems like that's what everyone else does. Like there's only ever one singular guy at the climbing frame, or there's like a husband and wife with like 3 young children playing, and they're like dominating the outdoor gym for a bit. Or I do see like 2 guys with a dog there. There's a lot of people just walking around the park, just doing laps, like getting their steps in, which is quite nice. And then there was a guy on the phone today, like really screaming down the phone to someone he was speaking another language. I couldn't figure out what he was saying, but he was not happy because I had my headphones on, so I didn't really hear it. And then when I would take my headphones off, I heard it. There's also like a pond there's like a dried out pond that people sit at. Like they'll sit on the edge and have their feet off so that their feet would be in the water, but I don't know when they're going to push water back into that pond or why they've drained it. It can't have just evaporated. But I remember seeing water when I first moved, maybe a year ago, but since I've been going recently, there's zero water in there. My parents are getting, what's it called? Solar panels for the house. But there's like an ideal part of the roof that would get a lot of sunlight, but they're not putting on that one because my mum doesn't want the solar panel, like people to see them when they first see the house. So they're putting them on like the bits that don't get as much sun. which feels a bit pointless to me. And there's also like in their house, there's like a cat flap that goes to nothing. It's like a cat flap in the brick. So we're not quite sure if it is a cat flap or not, because the woman in there that like, so basically there was an architect in the house that she built the house essentially. But she passed away, which is why then it went for sale and then my parents bought it. So there's like a cat flap that goes like where the laundry machine is or the dryer. But usually surely cat flaps are through doors. Like, why would you put a cat flap through a brick wall? Surely that's like harder to do. So we're not quite sure if it is a cat flap or like what it's for, but it works like a cat flap. But we don't even know if she had cats. We don't think she had cats. So this woman that built the house, like it's facing the sunrise. So all the windows are on like one side, because I think she believed, she believed in the sun. The sun had energy. So all the windows face one side. So in the morning, like the sun comes beaming into every single room, and it's like incredibly bright and warm, because like too warm. And then on the other side of the house, it's like the death side, where like there's only probably 2 windows on that side. There is a stained glass window, which is quite cool. I don't know where she got that from. And my dad's office is on the death side, and this room was like painted all red, my dad's office, and it was pretty dark and gloomy that side. I don't know what kind of religion she was, but yeah, believed in the sun essentially. Oh yeah, I did want to round this out with the reason why I wanted to talk about memory, and the fact that whatever you like, your memory serves as sort of things that they lead to you wanting to do things in the future. Like the memory of the holiday makes me want to go on a holiday. If I don't feel that memory, if I don't have that memory, then I could just continue my life and not really like have the sort of desire or the awareness of how holidays used to make me feel, and then so I wouldn't really want to go on one in the future. And I think if we're all like distracting ourselves so much, and I know I can a lot with like podcasts and stuff, just constantly have them in the background, like then I'm not truly feeling those feelings. So how can that sort of influence my future? Like I need to leave space to feel things in the moment, to then desire to want to do things in the future. I think you can become like quite easily stuck in doing the same things every day and not really thinking beyond that, and be stuck in your own routine, I guess, and your own like thought routines, like what you typically think about. And yeah, so I think that's where I was going with that. I also remember from the Albania trip, like we were walking, me and my 2 friends, like, and then one of my friends, we saw this lake, and he was just started drinking from it, and it was like clean water, and I didn't realize like you could get sick from water at that time, so I drank from it as well. And like we looked up, and my other friend didn't do it at all, and he was like, nah, I don't trust that. And we look up, and there's like a rusty pipe like 2 meters upstream from us. And then I started to panic, like, oh my, we're going to get so sick. But yeah, luckily we didn't. So I don't know why, but there was a rusty pipe. Luckily that probably just didn't do anything. But Albania was beautiful. Like, my friend missed the flight. I was supposed to be flying out with him, but he got stuck on the train. So I flew out by myself, and luckily he got a second flight like 2 hours later. So I waited at the airport in Tirana, and there was a KFC there. So I had to mention KFC twice in this episode. I had a KFC and I was waiting for him for a couple of hours, and then my ex came round the corner, which I did not expect, and she was picking up someone from the airport, and she was like half Albanian, don't know if I would call her my ex, actually. I think we were seeing each other for like 2 months during COVID. But yeah, it was so surreal to just see a familiar face walking by. And then she sent me a text that day saying like, oh, it was nice to see you, but like we'll have zero contact from now on. But yeah, she was pretty helpful at that time to get us a taxi back. But I don't even think we took her advice, really. I remember like my friend got in, and then this guy came up to us and was like, I can give you a lift somewhere. He just looked like he didn't look like he wasn't like a taxi driver. He was just someone, I think had like dropped someone off. And then I wouldn't have done that. But then my friend was like, yeah, why not? And so he drove us all the way to our first destination, which is nice. But Albania is probably somewhere I would go again, I think. It was fun. A lot of like Mediterranean mixed with like Soviet Russia style. There's just like so many men about. Like I don't know where all the women are. Like everywhere on the street is just like men, and like men in cafes and stuff. And everyone like the smell of Albania is like cigarette smoke in the cities. But like outside of the cities, it's like beautiful countryside. And I think their red wine is supposed to be really good. At one of the hostels we stayed at, the owner made their own red wine, and she gave us a free like jug of red wine. But I heard you could get quite sick off red wine if it's not properly pasteurized or something. Anyway, that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. Episode 14. I've only got like, I think my goal is to make it to 200 episodes. Let's see if I can do that.